Hello, my name is Anja, and today I continue talking about the alchemy and the power of resins and herbs. And today I would like to talk about or introduce amber, and then verbena, and the spruce. So, so let's talk about the amber for the beginning. So amber is like not a typical resin actually. I don't even think it counts as a resin in terms of resins. It's amber is actually fossilized, so it's like petrified resin of various pine trees or cedar or cypress. So different trees, like it's called the gold of the north. And actually the resin is between 20 and 20 million years old, and like I said, it comes from pine or cedar, cypress tree. So, and the resin was formed as a result of injuries and the decaying of such trees, and it often contains like inclusions of prehistoric plants or animals, as we know. We see little insects in them sometimes or whatever. So an amber can be found mainly in the Baltic region, like on the beaches of the Eastern Sea, but also in other parts of the world, so including the Dominican Republic. So the Germanic, they called amber glacum. So, and this is coming from the word glass. So in the ancient Greek, they called amber as electron. So, because the resin is charged with friction of electrostatical parts, and so also the word electricity has its origin here from. So, and this actually means light gold, or the light of gold. So, yeah. If you smudge amber, the smoke smells, pleasantly woody. So, resin is, of course, and slightly like a pine tree, but it varies depending on which plant it comes from, of course, right? So, and with amber you can really take your time smudging. So it burns very long, and that's why it can be used very well for longer smudging sessions. So what is amber about? The smudging with amber signifies the connection with the sun. It's about renewal and spiritual warming. And also in the Chinese medicine, smudging with amber is considered helpful in anxiety or insomnia, forgetfulness and cramping. So there is deep inner peace connected with this. And in the Middle Ages, amber was smudged against kidney stones, plaque, and epilepsy. So, because amber accelerates healing processes, so it releases the stored sunlight again and leads into deep states of inner calmness. Like amber is strongly cleansing, restorative, and strengthening, and it has influence of the nervous system as well as in states of fatigue or exhaustions, right? It supports like every new beginning, and if you need to release old patterns, it really helps. And it also protects you from negative. So it can do so much more though. It can give us, I can talk, maybe I should smudge a bit of that. So it can give us serenity, courage, strength. It takes away fear. What else? It can give you harmony, self-esteem, It can give you balance. It's really a good blessing also for elemental incense. And yeah, I like to use it and give it in the most possible incense mixes I do. I really love it. So, because the message of amber is actually the renewal at the place of origin. So, which accelerates with a healing process, right? And releasing of old patterns, for example, because you need to travel back to the origin, and then you can renew there by releasing, depending on what it is, right? So yeah, I really like amber, and I like to carry amber too. Like, if I could, I would carry a big amber wand with me, which I don't think exists, but I saw big pieces of amber. Like, I really love it. It's really warm. If you hold it or whatever, it's really warm, literally warm. It's beautiful. So next I have the verbena. Yeah, I talked about verbena before, but I just love it. It's one of my favorite herbs to smudge as well. Not only the medical benefits, but like I said, in this series, I'm not talking about really the medical benefits of consuming. It's really just about the smudging. So verbena, yeah, this is like also seen as a weed mostly, but of course it's not. It's a medical plant, and it can grow up to 2 meters. And you can find it everywhere on besides walls, roadsides, and rubble, gravel. So that's why it's mostly mistaken for weed. But there is no actually weed out there, guys. Like, I strongly believe that almost every plant out there has its purpose. So, but I think I mentioned that before. So the origin of the name has the verbena in the Indo-European word urbi, so which is like holy rod, and in the old Celtic word vervain, it's ver is the broom and fain the stone. So the origin of the medical plant is suspected in the Mediterranean area. So, but at the present times, you can find it in both in the northern hemisphere of the earth and in the temperate climate regions. So, because it grows very easily. So, yeah, and of course, vervain has it's a very strong magic smudging plant, I find, and it has always been used for ritual purpose. That goes back to the ancient Egypt, as ancient they can be, I mean. So, but it was considered a sacred plant and was dedicated to the goddess Isis, and which is why it was also called Tear of Isis. So, also, of course, the Druids of the Celts, they used the herb as a magical plant in their rituals, including the divination. So verbena is a sacred mystery plant of the Aztecs as well, because it can give you visions and enhances the perception of spiritual energies very well. So if you smudge it, for example, before sleep time, you can clarify your dreams with that plant as well. Yeah, it's a very magical incense. So, and it's also an altar herb. So it's used for the purification of stone altars, or even temples were cleaned with it. So, and I even do that. I clean my altar as well with vervain. And in the Middle Ages, vervain was worn by the knights in form of protective amulets. So the herb is like considered part of the production of the notorious fly herbs of the witches. And later it was counted to one of the 12 magical plants. I wasn't able to fly yet. I'm trying very hard to rub my broom with all that stuff, but it's not taking off, so I guess not. So if you smudge vervain, it's really not very intense. It's maybe a little spicy, a little herby, and it's pleasantly warm. It smells a bit like an autumn leaf fire. Therefore you can smell it very well with other resins and herbs. So what vervain does for you when you smudge it, it strengthens your protective and defensive forces, and it promotes also communication and above all, and it's also above all for truth and justice, also for clairvoyance, for the use of oracles, if you need to concentrate, protection and freedom. So what the vervain also does, it makes your aura more, sympathetic, and this will allow you to contact the other side at any time much more easier. So also vervain lets disturbing influences settle down, so that we can clearly analyze the all over situation and also be able to act intuitively a bit better. And also vervain, it promotes your courage to create something new if you have to, because in many situations our entire thinking is determined by if and but and what, so, and then we can't think clearly. So in vervain lets these disturbing influences settle down. It calms down your thoughts, and therefore you can analyze the situations a bit better. And it's also great for protection against negative things. And so, like I said, it was used to cleanse temples. So, but you can also use it for protecting the house. So you can smudge it, for example, very well with mugwort, which mugwort does too, right? That I talked about last week. And also, if you are plagued by nightmares, smudge your bedroom with vervain a bit before you're going to sleep, but don't forget to open the windows after. Also, if you wish to have material success, you can smoke with vervain as well before any trial or meeting if you need support. The message of vervain all over is like freedom fills the spirit, right? So, I love vervain. It's really very magical. I have to say that. And like I said, you can mix it very well with other stuff like spruce resin or cedar, And you can use the whole herb, the whole plant for smudging, but it has to be dried, of course, as with any other herb. So next we have the spruce. So I want to mention the spruce also because we all have mostly access to spruce trees, right? So, and from the spruce you can smudge the resins and the needles. So that's why I want to mention it as well. The spruce resin smells woody and of course a little resinous. So yeah, and it comes from your local spruce. When I smudge it, I use it when it comes to cleaning or protection, and when I want to have energy of bad-tempered people out of the house, or even when like health-wise, for a cold, when you feel the stretch, when I feel a scratch in my throat or have breathing difficulties, which I don't have anymore, but I used to, so that really helps your system. Also, like the Verbena, it provides courage and self-confidence, and it also supports your creativity. So actually the field of action is endless with the spruce. It really is. So smudging with the spruce resin strengthens and builds you up. It is yeah, like I said, very well suited for room cleaning, since the smoke gets rid of any germs. And yeah, the wild spruce resin, the natural, is my favorite. It has more power than the burgundy resin, which is actually the purified spruce resin. So, but if you collect the resin, make sure that you don't use it right away. It should at least store for a year, store and dry for a year. I know that's a long time, but only throughout the year the resin can really unfold his powers completely. So if you can't wait, if you don't have the patience, then you have to buy it. Yeah, like you can smudge spruce resin to strengthen yourself for various projects. So it also provides protection against disturbing influences, and yeah, like I said, it strengthens the self-perception. And also spruce resin helps you with grief and melancholy. It gives you more confidence and hope again, and then helps you to concentrate better. So and that's actually what that spirit of the tree does for you. It helps you in grief and melancholy. So yeah, and the needles, if you smudge the needles, they really have a fine woody aroma, so very typical. And that fragrance, like, is for free. Yeah, it gives you kind of feel of freedom when you smell it, and it has the same as the resin. It's good for cleansing, protection. Yeah, and you can smudge the needles on the charcoal, so there's no problem with it. And yeah, you can mix it also very beautiful with all the other incense. I really like it. And even in the ancient times, they used to smudge the resin or the needles or even the wood, because the incense was used to cure epidemics because of its fragrance and cleaning and disinfection abilities. Because, like I said, it get rid of germs, but not of speech problems, I guess. And it's very disinfectant for the room air. So if you had a cold or a flu, perfect. Yeah, and because of all of this, it's also very well to use for energetical cleanings of houses that I talked about before. Yeah, the incense protects us from negative, strange energies. Like, they literally dissolve. I'm not kidding you. And it builds us up from the inside. So it gives us, the strength to handle postponed affairs. You know, like some things we just like to postpone. for later. So yeah, and it helps you to calm down when it gets a bit hectic in our life. So it gives you motivation, it heals, relaxes, it cleanses. It's just really beautiful. So it it plays with your senses, and therefore it has a very euphoric effect on your soul. So if you have the certainty or even the presumption that a person is talking bad about you, then you can smudge spruce resin. And as a result, this bad stranger energy is invalidated and will come to a still stand. And it's beautiful because it really smells like the forest, and it animates all your senses. Therefore, I really like it. And I have a spruce here in the backyard, and it just bleeding resin by itself. So I took some of it, but not a lot, just a little bit for me. And then I left something back for the tree and said thank you. So I'm not being greedy, and don't be either. Just take just a bit for yourself. So don't start collecting for friends and families off one tree. You know what I mean? So, and like I mentioned, the health benefits of that smoke is for bronchitis, for colds, even for whooping cough or asthma, for flus, if you feel fatigue. Like I mentioned before, if you're tired, so if you're restless, so really, really beautiful. So that was it for today. Like I said, I want to keep it short so it's easier to make notes if you wish to. And next week I will talk about juniper and mastics. Or maybe I will talk about copal, because there are 3 sorts of copal. So I have not decided. The jury is still out. So Well, I hope you enjoyed and you can do something with it. And I will be back next Tuesday again. So thank you very much for listening. If you liked, then please leave a like for me or a little comment. And I will talk to you again next week. Thank you so much, and much love, everyone. Bye-bye.